Hi, welcome to the Art of Health podcast. It's a place where business leaders and health professionals share their insights and their often hard-earned successes with us. It's short, it's to the point, enjoy. Hi and welcome to the Art of Health podcast. Today we've got such a treat for you. I'm with the one and only Mr. Paul Nugent.
Good morning.
How are you today, Paul?
I'm very well, Rob, thank you. And it's great to be in these lovely surroundings that we're in today.
Isn't it just? I'll just tell our audience we're in the Health Innovation Campus at Lancaster University, which is an internationally renowned multi-million pound development here. And it is the future of health. So we're in the right place to talk about this today.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'll just tell the audience a little bit about you, Paul.
Yes.
And then we'll crack on with the interview.
Good stuff.
Right. So Paul Nugent of the Santé Group Limited, with his 23 years of experience in the private medical insurance and wellbeing sector, Paul has become a key figure in that industry. Paul's company, Nugent Santé, was formed in October 2015 and delivers innovative and cost-effective health and wellness solutions to both individuals and businesses. By investing in a professional team, designing a custom CRM system and other software solutions, Paul now spearheads the Santé Group, who support both their own clients and a professional network of same-sector insurance intermediaries. With an ever-increasing portfolio, Santé Group is becoming one of the leading institutions in its field.
That's what we hope.
Absolutely. Well, I just have to say before we do the interview that looking at your new brochure, which we'll put a link to under here, the title of the brochure is Employee Wellbeing in Safe Hands.
Yes, that's very true.
Isn't that employee wellbeing? That's what we want to talk about. And part of what is the words in the brochure, we deliver health and well-being strategies that help your business thrive whilst helping employees deal with the uncertainty of life.
Which is where we are now, right now, you know, the ever-changing landscape, isn't it?
Isn't it just, with the pandemic and everything?
Yeah.
So, you know the score, Paul.
Yes.
We're going to do 5 questions in 10 minutes, and I've got a little timer here, which we're going
It's
to
a race. No.
It's a bit of fun. It keeps me on track. And if you're talking too quick, I'll ask you more questions.
Okay, fine.
If it's going on a bit long, I'll rush us along a bit.
I'm with you all the way.
Well, let's do this. So, your time, Paul, starts now. As a leader of the Santé Group, what motivates you? What drives you, Paul? Especially regarding the welfare of the people in your organisation.
Well, really, I mean, let's make it, you know, where I am now. I love the industry I work in. I love the job that we do, you know, and I'm a big believer in innovation. So the insurance industry, which is where I've come from in my life, I suppose insurance is insurance. We all know what it does. Can be a bit boring, can be a bit antiquated. And obviously now with where we focus on really, which is employee wellbeing, it's all about new solutions because insurance isn't a one-size-fits-all thing. So I'm a big believer in innovation, which is why I've chosen, you know, partners to work with that are not necessarily insurance people. Insurance will always pay the bills when they need it. So innovation and people, really.
Right.
Focusing on people.
People.
Absolutely.
That's, I get that from you because we've met a few months ago, and I get that feeling from you that that's what you're really interested in. So.
Absolutely, and that's what we do. We protect people, and just, you know, lots of people are different. So having something that fits everybody.
Brilliant. That's great. Right, question number 2. We're doing great for time. What would you say was the number 1 initiative that you've put into place that's made the biggest difference to the health and well-being of the people in Nugent Santé?
In our business.
Santé,
Okay. Well, I think, and without sort of, you know, mentioning the word, but the pandemic. So that has driven us really to put something in place. So obviously before when it all happened, we had people that had to stay at home. So luckily with our business, we don't actually have to see people physically. We're a digital business. We can all work at home. So we were quite quick in doing that. But obviously with us focusing on people, and what I like is being around my team and my staff, we didn't have that. We were all at home. So using our partners that we use, we put something in place called Wellbeing Assessment. So after a few months of being at home, it's like, how do you engage with your staff? How do you touch them? How do you make sure we're still that team? Yeah. So we engaged one of our partners to put it's an online platform basically, which it designs professional questions. You know, I mean, it's not just how are you doing. It's these questions are designed to bring out staff, and rather than asking how you're doing, you know, it's what are you afraid of? You know, what are your concerns?
Really, so quite deep questions.
So, you know, we put that into place, and us as a management team, obviously we've got to think about GDPR and that sort of thing. We've got 27 staff connected to our business. Right. So we got a flavour as to how we were doing as a business. So that initiative to us, and obviously when you ask people questions, it depends how they are on that day. But in the main, I think there was about 30 questions that drove data back to us to say how actually are our staff, not at work, but at home. Because, you know, whilst they're our staff, they've also got different lives as well.
But I should think that equally applies to when they're at work, you know, if they're in the office.
Absolutely.
It's a wonderful initiative.
Absolutely. But this is designed about life, really. Yeah. So it's work and home.
And how does it work? How often do they, you know, answer the questionnaire? Or
well, is it a month it's about measurability, isn't it? So you can ask somebody a question one day digitally, and they might be at a low ebb, so you get a negative question. So we try and do this every 3 and definitely every 6 months to see. We're actually doing it again just right now. Right. But it just gives you a flavour as to what you need to do, and if you need to tweak anything, you know, but also to drag out if anyone is feeling really bad, to try and identify that and do something about it.
Help them, yeah. Oh, that sounds brilliant. Yeah, a lot of people will be listening to this and thinking, now there's an idea. Right, question 3. You've got to be brave to answer this one. I've observed, Paul, that truly great leaders often talk about their own vulnerability, their mistakes, just as much as they talk about their victories and their strengths. So what would you say was one big mistake that you've made that could be a warning to others?
I think I've made quite many mistakes. But in business.
in your business.
So I would say, you know, starting off, because it was just me at one point in my life, and I did what I want to do. I still do to an effect, you know, I've got a clear vision in what I want to do. What I was probably not so good at in the early years when we started out and building a team is not sharing my vision. So I believe that, and I would carry on and, you know, get frustrated when people weren't coming on board with what I wanted to do. So throughout this time, really, I think being communicative, you know, getting your team on board, and that doesn't just have to be your management team, sharing with the staff where we're going, and, you know, getting them involved really as well.
Right.
Without getting the tail wagging the dog, so to speak, because it will always be myself and the company that they work for. Yeah. But giving them part of involvement. So I think that all surrounds really is communication. Yeah. You know, not wrapping it up and going for it and then expecting everyone to follow. It's like, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to do it. And, you know. So
they have an agency in it. They have they feel like they're part of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's so easy to I'm running this and you do this and you do that, but to involve everyone and share the vision.
Is everybody on board, you know? Yeah. And if they're not, you know, then it's a case of, well, how can you be? And make them understand why we're doing it. Because, as I say, we are people focused. I mean, we're in a really lucky industry because we supply employee benefits, so they've all got employee benefits, so they do get looked after. So, but I think being clear about what you're doing and why you're doing it, you know, for me,
the big picture where we're going. Yeah,
it will avoid that frustration when, you know, you've got a plan, but your team don't know what the plan is.
Right, well, I appreciate you coming clean with that, you know, that bit of vulnerability. How we've got 3.5 minutes left, just lovely. 2 questions to go.
On point.
On point, yeah. So, Paul, if you had one piece of advice to give other company directors or HR managers, what that would help them shortcut the journey that you've been on, what would that top tip be? So something tangible that they could actually put into place maybe today after this.
I think obviously we've just talked about one of them because there's probably quite a few things, but I'd say communication, absolutely. But this follows on with what I'm going to say now, and I would say don't be afraid of change.
Don't be afraid of change.
Obviously we're just going through a massive change in everybody's life at the moment, and everything has to be tweaked. And I think the only way to succeed is, expect change and work with change, or otherwise I think you'll get left behind.
Embrace change. I like that.
Yes.
Yeah. And
sure.
People tend to get stuck in the mud. We do it this way.
Yeah.
But
yeah, absolutely.
If you're open. Yeah.
Look at the world now. Things are going digital. My 84-year-old mother has an iPad, and while she says she can't use it, she's following me on Facebook and telling me what I'm doing. So so you've got to embrace change.
Absolutely.
The world is moving so fast.
Yeah.
And
that's the secret, I think, of your expansion.
Yeah, and especially in health and well-being. Digital GP.
So important.
Yeah.
Right, fantastic, Paul. Final question. Oh, got 2 minutes to go. I'll ask you another little question at the end. But what's the one question I should have asked you, but I didn't? I put you on the spot.
Wow.
There.
Yeah. Gosh. Well. Maybe, I suppose, what are you afraid of?
Right, what are you afraid of?
There's not a lot, actually. Not a lot at all. One is snakes, but I think one thing I am really afraid. I love life. Absolutely love life. Love what I do. And I'm scared of getting old, and obviously the worst thing. So, obviously, I've been following what you do. The art of health, Feel Fab in 5. So I'm hoping that sort of afraidness can, if I follow what you're doing, then that might reduce me being so scared about me getting old and not being able to do what I enjoy doing.
It absolutely will. I know we're doing a little programme with your
which
guys
we're all excited
in
about
January,
doing.
and that's exactly what it's about. And I'm planning to carry on into my 90s before I stop doing.
Well, if I will follow that lead.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. A few small things, it's so easy.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Paul, final thing then, I'll just add this right at the end. We've got a few seconds left. Where can people see this fantastic brochure and connect with your company? What's your website address?
Our website address, the best one to go to is www.nugent, which is my surname, and Santé, which is French for health.com.
Brilliant. Nugent Santé, NUGENTSANTE.com.
Yes.
Brilliant. Paul, you've been absolutely brilliant. The time is just about to go off.
We did
Talk
well.
about good timing.
I really enjoyed that. Thanks for your time. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you so much. And just on behalf of the Art of Health listeners, we'd like to thank you. And
you're very welcome anytime.
Right. Cheers. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
There goes the timer. Perfect. Thanks for checking out the Art of Health podcast. If you like what we're doing here, please head over to iTunes, subscribe, rate us, and leave a review. And I'll love you forever. And if you'd like to try my energy boosting, inflammation busting, brain and body food breakfast, head over to www.breakfastofbrilliance.com and download the recipe today. See you soon. Bye.